Doing some testing earlier, a maxed out super heavy battleship can get to 146 heavy attack and 55 heavy piercing. Yeah, the heavy attack always starts really quite low, the piercing is always higher. But as the more modern guns kick in, it does get better. I mean, this is a relatively lightweight brawler. I wonder if I can squeeze in one heavy battery. No, it's just too much. Well, actually, yes, I could. What if I did that? There we go. That's better. The light attack and light piercing suck, but who cares? I mean, we still have some resistance. We have the 2 anti-airs. We're fast and we're heavily armoured. I like this. This is actually a really good design. Cool. So we are going to call this the Pain Cell. That's an awesome name. Pain Cell class. Cool. And we're going to start building 2 of those. And we're going to assign them to the reserve fleets right now. Okay, and that's all the dockyards in use. We're going to have some more, but I think we're going to start building some destroyers once that submarine is done. I love that name. It's an awesome name. So I'm just updating my paperwork. To make sure everyone gets a fair chance. Definitely need some good light cruisers with a ton of secondaries to defend that. Yeah, I know. Or destroyers. Is this game as complicated to start playing as it looks like? So many things to deal with. I would say playing as the UK is the complicated one. If you want to just jump in, play as Italy. Italy is a great nation to learn with. Because as the Italians, you still have a role at everything. You can do land, you can do air, and you can do sea. But if you screw up, it doesn't matter. Like, if you screw up in the air, Germany's got your back. If you screw up at sea, Japan's got your back. If you screw up on land, Germany's got your back. So yeah, I would strongly suggest trying it out as Italy. I wouldn't call this complicated. There are many other World War II games which are a billion times more complicated than this. I do actually want to train this. I had meant to do that earlier. Okay, so that final submarine just finished, so now we're going to get some destroyers. So what do my destroyers look like, and can I upgrade them? They currently have old school anti-sub. Am I not researching active sonar? I am. 40 days, that becomes available. I'll probably want to build some of those. But considering it's going to take 2 years to build the paint cells, I don't think I want to lay down any more of those. What about the Leanders? Okay, so the Leanders are torpedo boats. They have good recon. They have no anti-air. Oh no, they have some anti-air. Not a lot, though. We really do need to build a Mediterranean AA. I mean, these guys have got the good light attack and light pierce. No heavy, but that's fine. So these would be the screens. The screens and the recon. So we are going to need light cruisers too. So we're going to be light cruiser, destroyer, and heavy. Right now, battle cruisers, but we can switch to battleships, and I want just one of those. Oh, you know what we could build right now? Convoys. Can never have too many of those. Am I going historical UK? Yes. Operation Torch, Operation Market Garden. We will fight them on the beaches and all.
Yes, sir.
I mean, we could definitely do an Operation Market Garden. I've never actually used paratroopers in this game. I'm like the worst offensive commander ever. I'm a very good defensive commander, but offensive, not so much. Like I said previously, I'm very much from the Montgomery school of strategic thinking. Paras suck. They just need to be used right. The problem is you need to be able to get to them to relieve them, which was actually the problem in Market Garden. They didn't get relieved. So you need to kind of mix Paras with either light tanks or medium tanks. I did 3 Dunkirks with the Poles. How many more Dunkirks do you want me to do? Paras don't have a special template like the Mountaineers, do they? I think that's probably what they need. Yeah, it's Marine. Oh, they do have Para. Never mind, I've never bothered building them. Right, we can get our second person, who was going to be the war industrialist, Maxwell Aitken. And now I feel like I can start spending political power on other stuff. Active sonar is done, mechanical computing is done. Cool. So let's start working on depth charge throwers. No, let's start working on battlefield concentration, battle fleet concentration. I know I could spend naval points, but we haven't actually generated enough of them. And this is still 36, so we are way ahead of time in that. Still 37. I think what I might do is switch over to superior firepower, so let me think about this for a moment. Grand battle plan would be slower. We land in an area, then we push once we're prepared. And their push is pretty powerful. Superior firepower would be better at attritioning down Germany, except if they go heavily mechanized. It's Germany, they're going to go mechanized. Superior firepower is a better counter to Mass Effect. Grand Battle Plan probably is the counter to mobile warfare. You just need to wear them down until their offensive is done and then counterattack heavily. Grand Battle Plan is really good for counterattacks. If they go mechanized, just bomb their refineries. Oh, bombing's going to happen. In fact, that's the other thing I could do, is I could just ignore the land battles and fight them in the air. Let's get hurricanes. Then I can actually start building hurricanes. That's a good move. That's a much better move.
Yes, sir.
In fact, if I could get Supermarine before the hurricane's done, that would be even better. The games of the 11th Olympiad, the 11th Olympic Games, were recently held in Berlin, Germany, and the Germans spared no expense. Dunner Kyle, thank you very much for the follow. Welcome to the channel. Air transports are really useful for supply, even without actual paras. I prefer having ports for supply. It's the naval player in me coming out there. Alright, so we can get industrial effort, which will lead to the extra research slot. Is there any requirement for that? Nope. Or we can get service overseas, which will lead to encourage colonial elite. No, I think we're going to go for the research slot. The slot is better than just having 5% faster research. Having both is even better, of course. Focus all our political efforts on building up the civilian industry and a great leap forwards. Still super low on guns. World tension needs to be to 25% before I can guarantee Poland. And I very much see it as my duty to equip any democratic nation that should flee to us and seek security. Does Germany have a lot of ships? They have a lot of submarines, which is why I need to counter that with destroyers. Did I know that the Soviet Union was the first country to set up a regular paratrooper unit in 1932? I think I did know that, yeah. Wow, there's a lot of lag selecting these. Thank you. Half of you are getting equipped, and half of you aren't. And also half of you are getting acclimatization and immediately losing it. Oh, is that as reinforcements come in or something? Must be. You go depose Hitler, as Germany, the Olympics event pops up as soon as you finish the civil... Well, let me read that again. If you go depose Hitler as Germany, the Olympics event often pops up just as you finish the Civil War. That's cool. But does the text change? It must do. Alright, October 36. Do we want to start tactical bombers? I don't think so. Early on, we're just going to be struggling to keep up with the Germans in terms of production. We could, however, do with the Vickers MGs. Oh, that's the other thing I should double check. Are you done training yet? Yes. Ages ago. Probably. Right, where are you? Because you need to go home before I forget. Also, why are you training? Industrial effort is done. Here we go. Research slot. Our industrial expansion and other recent advances might allow us to conduct more R&D in parallel. Yes, it would. The German Reich dominates the Dutch trade negotiations. The Germans have expanded their influence over the Netherlands to the point where the Dutch government has felt forced to favour them over the current trade negotiations. No! That is unacceptable! Mitigate them! Demand reduced Dutch trade with Germany. Orders. Free trade is a bad thing. Nobody should be allowed to do free trade. It's an evil that must be curtailed. The Dutch greed must be removed. Am I playing historically? Yes, I am. And then let's do it again. Alright, so world tension's still not high enough to change the civilian economy. So what I am thinking right now... Oh, we could get a theorist, that's true. In defeat unbeatable, in victory unbearable. That's a good quote about Monty. Oh, you can have a blitzkrieg guy that makes all of your tanks faster. Huh. I mean, ultimately ship designs would be super useful, but I don't think right now. I actually think the aircraft designer, if we can get the Supermarine then our early fighters will be that much stronger. Do it.
Listen up.
Alright, they're almost fully trained. It's just the West African force. We've got the Matilda. Excellent. And we also have research speed for construction. Let's start working on that. A little bit ahead of time. In fact, that was probably a bad move. I should have just waited for the month because it would actually have been quicker. Never mind. I got excited seeing the 100% faster. Faster, better, stronger.
Ready.
How's the Navy doing? The Navy is doing. Right, where are you? You're down there. Stop drilling. Return to port. And you can start. So we are currently beating the Germans for the gateway to Europe. What happens if they don't get either? If they manage to maintain neutrality because neither wins, then the Netherlands receives the political power. Trade relations with German Reich changed by plus 25. Opinion. So trade relations goes up, but opinion goes down. And that means that the Dutch will trade with either side, but less than if they switched to just one. And if they go neutrality, then they can either do Legacy of the Saving Provincian or Oranje Boven, which is unaligned. So no, we are going to want them to cave to us. We're just not going to want them to do it too soon. I broke history even though I'm playing on historical AI. The German Reich is fabricating on France before the Czechs divide. Alright, research slot is done. So we could begin working straight away on Concentrated Industry 2. Or Production Efficiency Cap. Yeah, this is going to give us more dockyard output. And we have a new focus, so we can get the Royal Ordnance factories, which I'm going to do because I do think I actually want to have some light tanks available for the outbreak of the war, seeing as I've researched the Matilda. I also really want to start my... Yeah, we're going to do Royal Ordnance factories, and then we're going to do Service Overseas, Encourage Colonial Elite, and then the Commonwealth stuff. I don't think we need to do these just yet. Do it. The Royal Arsenal at Woolwich is woefully insufficient to produce all the munitions and small arms we need. We should establish many more factories around the country, preferably in relatively safe areas. Have you done training yet? Yay! You have. Oh, I'm hearing beep 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 beep. Nationalist Spain has declared war on Spain. I should probably go and have a look-see. Unfortunately, I don't think I can send volunteers to Republican Spain, can I? No. War tension needs to be at 50% rather than 6%. So this is just going to be the Soviets and the fascists. A civil war has erupted in Spain. Several generals seeking to overthrow the current government in Madrid have issued a pronunciamiento. And a large portion of the Spanish armed forces have answered their call to arms. Okay, so let me just double check. If I started building Hurricanes, they are indeed Hawkers. Good. No, sorry, Supermarines. Because I know that Hawker Hurricanes were obviously made by Hawker, while Supermarine were Spitfires. So let's start working on some Hurricanes. Let's get 3 of those going. And I'm also going to queue up 3 Matildas. And then as a reserve, some more motorized so I can attach some motorized to my tanks. Group machine tools, where we have a modifier for some reason. Oh, that's probably because of the Commonwealth shared trade, shared tech. That's an advantage Britain had I've totally forgotten about. Remember back in the day when multiple Chinese United Front factions would form, or when China would just auto-consume all the warlords when the faction was formed? Yes. I mean, that can still happen, it's just less likely. And now we're trying to save up for these. We'll give refuge to the Germans first. So this is going to cost us some stability, but then we can just recover that stability by using the improved worker conditions later on. I mean, it's definitely going to be useful having got this guy so early. Philip Kerr with his political power gain. I don't usually do that, but I think that's going to pay dividends. Oh, and Stanley Baldwin also gives political power. Alright, Vickers MG and Stokes Mortar, done. 37. So we can now... Oh, that's 38. All of those are being worked on. We could get better fuel per oil. I think we probably ought to. Seeing as oil has been a little bit hairy since we started. Simply because of our naval power. Oh, you guys are finished. You can go back into Portsmouth. And then you can start drilling. I feel like I was getting a lot more naval experience with the Dutch than I am now. And we finished construction already. That's really good, actually. Let's get field hospitals. And then let's add field hospitals to our infantry divisions. Well, let's not. At least until we've actually researched, hospitals.
Ready to move! Ready to move!
How are we doing for deficits? Actually overcoming them pretty quickly. That's good. Then as soon as the Royal Ordnance factories are done, we'll start building aircraft and tanks right now. And then we can start working on something else. We could do the BSA company, which is the infantry equipment, but no, I think we need to do service overseas now. By rotating armed forces personnel to colonial stations and back home again, they can learn about the conditions on different fronts, gain experience and share it with their comrades back home. How are the subjects doing, by the way? Because we haven't been doing any work on any of these guys yet. In fact, how's the construction coming? It's coming along well. We're up to 25 civilian factories actively participating. And once the Civil War is over, world tensions should rise high enough. Oh, we can oh, it's war support you need for mobilization. Well, we'll be able to get partial mobilization. Right, because war support rises, the higher world tension rises. Am I going to annex the Dominions? I don't intend to right now, but who knows? If things get bad enough. Naval Doctrine's already moving. These are all the 36 technologies. Those are torpedoes, which I don't really care about. Yeah, let's get damage control going. Question is, Mordred, have I said it's just good business in this playthrough yet? No, I haven't. Not yet. I'm sure the opportunity will arise at some point, though. I think that's reserved for the Dutch. Right, my Mediterranean command is going to need to drill. Kiss goodbye to my oil reserves. Actually, it hasn't been as bad as I thought it would be. Battle fleet concentration is done. So I would say let's do the subsidiary carrier roll. Improve machine tools. Right, so those are all finished. Fire control. Battleship and battle cruiser attack. Or we could upgrade the munitions. Or the depth charge. Let's do the depth charge. I'm kind of playing this with a bit of foreknowledge, knowing what Germany's going to do with submarines. Which is why I've been kind of resisting that. I hate just like preparing for what I know the AI is going to do. Makes things too easy. The guns! They are manned! Yes, the guns are certainly being manned. How is the Winchester so far behind? Oh, it's because you're damaged badly. I guess the Suffolk shot you or something. Alright, I'm going to send you home. I'm going to set you to join the reserves. Which will be drilled at some point. Probably. Chinese United Front forms. US Congress passes Neutrality Act. Chiang Kai-shek and Mao Zedong have issued a joint announcement declaring that they have set aside their differences in the face of a Japanese attack. With tensions arising throughout the globe, the US Congress has been the scene of intense discussions around the role the United States should play on the world stage. We're still ahead. Do I want to go really far ahead, though? 37? No, I don't think so. Can I see what Germany's doing? Treaty with the USSR? What?
Come on!
Good question. Do you guys have any promotions I want to give you?
Ready, sir!
No, not really.
Yes, sir!
Actually, unyielding defender for you would be nice.
Ready!
Pownall has won. Trickster, he can become a guerrilla fighter. Nah. Did the British High Command not know that the German naval strategy with lots of U-boats wasn't that well their strategy during World War I? I mean, actually, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. Are we going to reinforce the Mediterranean fleet? Yes, and in fact, I'm probably going to move most of my carriers down to the Mediterranean. But right now, they're just training. And I'm likely to move a bunch of my submarines down to the Mediterranean as well, because I think they'll be a lot more effective down here. Especially if they're trying to reinforce Libya, because we can basically just cut them off. Alright, so we've got service overseas, so now we can encourage the colonial elite, and then we can do the Commonwealth ties and build all of that stuff up. Our vast, sprawling empire houses some of the greatest minds in the world, but its size prevents many of them from ever meeting. By encouraging them to work together on our most important projects, we can achieve results faster. Yes, it's almost like working together is a good idea. Right, and we could get another political advisor. We've already announced we don't want one. Ship designer, however, would be nice. Although I will need to think quite seriously about what I want. Did you know you can appoint repair ports for your navies? That way you can be sure your ships will be repaired in high developed ports, and thus very speedy compared to the little ports. That is true, and that is something I should probably be looking at. Let me turn them off again. Is it shift? Control and click. That's how. Do with beefing up Belfast. Could also do with beefing up Bermuda. We have 100 just tiny little ports around. We also need to beef up Malta. Use it in a similar way to Curacao. Alright, 156. So I think now we want the ship designer. So this is where we do need to make a decision. Yarrow shipbuilders would mean that my screens are better. So destroyers. And light cruisers. Max range, sub-detection, max speed. But they cost a bit more. Cornwall Laird means my carriers are more armoured, my capital ships more armoured and have a heavier attack. Holland and Wolf. Carriers have a bigger deck size and the range of everybody increases. Or John Brown and Company. Production cost of everything is reduced, but also all of their abilities in really quite a dramatic way. Especially for the capital ships and the carriers. The screens of the submarines are not so badly affected. Yeah, I'm certainly leaning towards Camel Laird. Yeah.